Employees from some Australian companies are now working 4-day weeks with no cut to their pay. 20 companies across Australia and New Zealand began trialing the 4-day weeks in early August. Watch the video above. Is a 4-day working week the way of the future? Watch the latest news on Channel 7 or stream for free on 7 Plus. The 6-month pilot study, run by not-for-profit 4-Day Week Global, is so far off to a successful start, a spokesperson from the company confirmed to 7 News. com.au. Tech company Our Community is one of a handful of Aussie companies taking part in the trial. Dennis Moriarty, founder of Our Community, told 7 News in 22 years he has never seen productivity higher among staff. Work is just so much better, he said. They do more work in the 4 days. They come in more energized, and they're more committed. The pilot involves companies in industries ranging from finance to fashion and follows on from similar trials across the world, such as in the UK, where thousands of workers at 70 companies trialed the 4-day week back in June. The trade-off for workers receiving 100% of their pay for working only 80% of their usual week is that they maintain 100% of their productivity. Andrew Barnes, the entrepreneur who conceived the 4-day week and went on to establish 4-Day Week Global, said the program is not just about work-life balance and productivity. We recognized well before the pandemic that the 5-day week is no longer fit for purpose, and as we trialed and studied the 4-day week it became clear that this is a necessary part of the solution to restore climate balance, among many other documented benefits, he said. We simply cannot go on as we have been, and we welcome the forward-thinking companies and business leaders in Australasia who are driving this change and showing the path forward. Push to axe the 5-day week. Meanwhile, the Australian Nurse and Midwifery Federation, ANMF, is calling on the government to axe the standard 5-day working week in a bid to boost productivity and change the way Australians work. A federal parliamentary inquiry looking into the impact of work on a person's caring responsibilities is currently underway, with a report set to be published in February next year. ANMF's Victorian branch has made a submission to the inquiry, pushing for a reduction in full-time weekly work, from 38 hours to 32 hours, or 4 days instead of 5. In its submission, the union said this change would enable all employees a better opportunity to balance work with personal responsibilities. ANMF also noted that the 38-hour work week, when initially introduced in Australia in 1983, was set in consideration of a very different domestic context. ANMF Victorian Branch Assistant Secretary Paul Gilbert told 7 News the notion that 38 hours is a magical number is outdated. All of the evidence shows that a 4-day working week pays itself off, he said. At the moment we have an incredible number of people on leave, fatigued. Global pilots. Identical pilots are also currently underway in Canada and the US, while the trial in Ireland has ended. Until now, Iceland had conducted the biggest pilot of a shorter working week between 2015 and 2019, with 2,500 public sector workers involved in 2 large trials, which found no drop in productivity among participants, and a dramatic increase in employee well-being. Calls to shorten the working week have gathered steam in recent years in several countries. As millions of employees switched to remote work during the pandemic, cutting onerous commuting time and costs, calls for greater flexibility have only grown louder. Government-backed trials are set to take place in Spain and Scotland later this year, the 4-Day Week campaign said. 4-Day Week Global CEO Joe O'Connor said workers have shown they can work shorter and smarter. As we emerge from the pandemic, more and more companies are recognizing that the new frontier for competition is quality of life, and that reduced hour, output-focused working is the vehicle to give them a competitive edge, he said. Researchers will measure the impact the new working pattern will have on productivity levels, gender equality, and the environment as well as worker well-being. With CNN. And finally, thank you all for watching the video. Please like and comment your opinion so we can discuss together. Don't forget to subscribe, press the bell to follow and update many other interesting news. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.